In this episode we'll be covering the PGMFI light and the gear selector, the interior and some of the exterior bits. In this opening clip you can see the ECU underneath the passenger seat. Now it has one long blink and 4 short blinks. Most people, me when I first saw it, equated that to 5 because you've got the one long and the 4 short. However, that one long blink is equal to 4 short blinks, so that's 8. And in the fault finding sheet, it actually means that's the idle air control valve, which is the most welcome news I've had from this car since I got it back from Wales. Originally, it was thought that this car had crank angle sensor failure, which would have been an absolute death nail. They're hard to find, it takes ages to do, and it's genuinely a pain. The best place to source them from, of course, is America, where the Legend, the Honda Legend, or the Acura Legend, has the same C27A engine as the 827 over here. But luckily for me, I don't have to go through hoops and try to find a crank angle sensor now. So that is very, very welcome news. And it makes my life, money-wise and car-wise, a lot easier. So as you can see by this photo, that is the idle air control valve there, the offender in this situation. And I'm taking off the under tray so I can get to the main massive pipe that goes to the radiator, so we can take that off and drain the coolant. After draining the coolant, we took the idle air control valve off. As you can see, it's quite hard to get the pipes off of it, the little silicone hoses. Absolute nightmare. But when I tilt it towards the camera, you can see in the little openings where all the gunk is. Moment of truth, we're putting the very nice looking coolant in. I don't know why I always want to drink it, maybe it's because I'm weird. And we're firing the car up, and of course the PGMFI light comes on for a second to check and then it turns off. The car still idles a bit high, but we did service the car after that and it was perfectly fine. There wasn't actually that much to do with the interior at this stage, unfortunately. The only thing that really annoyed me was the little air vents. One of them had the little toggle missing, so we replaced that. We also refitted the little speaker grills at the back after we'd painted them, and it looked a bit better, but it's a bit fiddly. The paint was one of the things that shocked me the most when I went to pick this car up. The lack appeal is horrendous, and I noticed lots of scratches and marks in the paint. So naturally, me having a polisher that I got from Amazon, I whipped that bad boy out, stuck some ultimate compound on it and got to work. Did a load of passes, polished it, waxed it, even put some of that ceramic stuff on it to try and give it a deeper shine. It didn't work. So I found out that I've actually got clear coat fracturing, which is basically underneath the clear coat it starts separating and failing. So rather than clear coat failure where it sort of flakes off in specific spots, this is underneath the paint. So basically, in my opinion, it looks like a DeLorean with all the crazy lines, but no, it's basically, it's done. This paintwork is done. It needs to be repainted, unfortunately. You can see in a few of these photos that I've added on here that I've made somewhat of a difference by taking the top layer off, but it doesn't seem that this car's ever really been waxed or polished as much as it should have been. We then tried to remove the cheap looking tow bar, but unfortunately we couldn't get it off, so we gave up. After sitting on the driveway for about 2 weeks, the car then decided that it really liked being in park. So we had to take the center console out and the armrest and all of that center big plastic bit out to get to the workings of the gear selector. We adjusted the gear selector using the weird little nut thing with an adjustable spanner, which I ended up, while we were doing that, I ended up pulling it back like an idiot, and then we lost it. But then naturally we put it back together and twisted it, and it all was fine again. We also cleaned that area because there was loads of gunk in there, obviously from how long that car's been on the road, and that part's probably never been serviced or looked into. So the amount of stuff that, you know, naturally humans shed stuff, so there was lots of hair. I could probably DNA ID every single previous owner from what was in there. But yeah, we then greased it and put it all back together. You can see it was quite an operation, with this car being a really weird ODU plated, factory special ordered Enigma manager car, fleet demo thing, Sterling spec. Yeah, it's quite a weird car. So with these two electrically adjustable seat things, and it being really brittle plastic and how they're mounted with these awful screws straight into the plastic, it was a nightmare, because it was just the sheer anxiety of breaking that part, knowing you could probably not find it again. Well, you could find it if you'd found a Sterling that was breaking, but that of course isn't likely. After we put it back together, it was a bit stiff, drove it a little bit, and it was perfectly fine again. You can see here in this miscellaneous clip I thought I'd include, someone put like some grease all over the scuttle panel cover thingy, so we took that all off. It wasn't that rusty, but it was bubbling here and there. More next week, of course. Sorry it's been so long, it takes ages to do this, and I've just been preoccupied with other things. So thank you for watching, and keep watching, remember to subscribe.